Ibe Kachuku, and the Minister of Nigerian Delta. State House correspondent Jide Nifade reports that though the reason for the meeting is not yet made known to the public, activities by a terror group in the Niger Delta region that are greatly affecting the nation's economy will certainly be in the front burner. The National Assembly has held a summit with the theme Legislating for Electoral Reform as part of its determination to strengthen the country's electoral laws before the end of this year. Senate President Abubakar Bukola Saraki said the summit was aimed at incorporating, among other issues, the use of modern electoral process. National Assembly correspondent Abdullahi Aminu reports.
The summit was characterized by observations, comments, and issues requiring clarification about the mandate of the Independent National Electoral Commission and the Electoral Act, the role of security agencies to ensure peaceful atmosphere for election, use of card reader among other modern technological devices, and early conduct of primary election by political parties were also raised for amendment.
Is determined to provide the missing gap that will be necessary to put the system right.
We must do everything within our powers to perfect our elections.
Presentations were made at the technical session of the summit by the Chairman Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, on improving elections administration and management, as well as a senior lawyer, Festus Okoye.
There must be sanctions for violators, because for as long as we don't tackle violence in our elections, we'll continue to have challenges with the sustenance and stabilization of our democracy.
We are now going to look at all the areas that need reform and suggest either we should have an all-encompassing reform process.
With 1,087 remaining days for the conduct of 2019 general elections, according to INEC calendar, the electoral reform is to, among other things, achieve timely and comprehensive amendments. From the National Assembly, Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
Anti-political matters where there are indications that the People's Democratic Party PDP's crisis may soon be over, as the caretaker chairman, Senator Ahmed McCarthy, has formally taken over the affairs of the party at the Abuja headquarters after amicable resolution of issues. Edina Justice reports that PDP former National Deputy Chairman Uche Secondus and the Board of Trustees Chairman, Senator Walid Jibrin, officially handed over the PDP Secretariat to the new caretaker chairman.
The formal handing over ceremony, though brief, was well attended by the party stalwarts. The former Deputy National Chairman of the party, Uche Secondus, said it was a demonstration of the party's ability to settle its internal crises and that they have come out more united and stronger.
BOD is intact. We are not divided. This party is ready to capture power in to make official handover to legitimate persons to run the activities of this party. For the whole world, we witness that our internal mechanism for reconciliation works.
The Deputy Senate President Ike Kuremadu affirmed that the event was a new dawn for the PDP.
We have just acquired a new spirit of togetherness, spirit of love. Also the PDP, if there's anything PDP knows how to do best, is bringing this country together.
They equally took some minutes to pray for the health of President Muhammadu Buhari and the unity of the nation. The crisis in the party clamors last month, with the concerned members holding simultaneously conventions in Abuja and Port Harcourt, where Senator Ahmed McCarthy emerged as caretaker committee chairman. In Abuja, Edina Justice, NTA News.
Away from political issues, as the Senate Committee on Gas has commenced investigative hearing on the alleged upward review of the contract for the Escravos gas to liquid plant project by the Chevron NNPC joint venture in Delta State. National Assembly correspondent Kenneth Nanim reports.
The Senate at plenary had debated on issues related to the Escravos gas to liquid plant project, whose contract was awarded in 2005 at a cost of $2 billion. Variation of the contract in 2009 increased the cost to $5.9 billion, and the cost is presently put at $10.3 billion. Appearing before the Senate Committee on Gas on the matter, the management team of Chevron Nigeria Limited pointed to topographic issues, insecurity in the Niger Delta area, and direct labor costs as some of the factors responsible for the increases in the contract sum. They explained that the NPC has not officially written Chevron, signifying its withdrawal from the project as alleged.
The NPC has expressed on numerous occasions an expectation that EGTL be completed and has commended CNL for its work to make the project a reality.
In some cases, there were revisions that resulted in increase. Some were driven by the schedule as it was taken up, but what we should be looking at here is how all of them accumulate together to result in a net increase.
Expressing delight on the completion of the plant despite huge financial commitment, the Senate Committee on Gas promised to consult with the NNPC and other stakeholders on the matter to unravel the facts.
Between 2008 and 2012, the project cost has risen by additional $5 billion. And this is quite worrisome. And they've stated their case, and we listen to NNPC, then also take an on-the-site assessment of the project, because they said they've completed the project in 2014 and are now selling. What we are driving at is that we should be able to create a platform where the two of them, NNPC and Chevron, can sit down and agree.
The Escravos gas to liquid plant project is expected to produce 33,000 barrels per day of gas to liquid fuel, as well as process 325 million cubic feet of natural gas per day, reducing excessive gas flaring in the area to the barest minimum. From the National Assembly, Kenneth Nanim.
They need to make conscious and consistent efforts to enhance the carrying of universities in Nigeria towards accommodating large number of admission seekers annually has been emphasized. Joy Uzo reports that this was the view of guests on Good Morning Nigeria as they analyzed the inconsistencies in the tertiary admission process in the nation.
The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Examination Board (JAMB) was set up as a regulatory body to drive provisional admission of potential students into Nigerian tertiary institutions. In pursuit of this, reforms have been introduced to ensure academic competence of students before they are granted admission into higher institutions of learning, among which is the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination (UTME) test. However, it was scrapped recently by the government. The impact of this and other inconsistencies rocking the admission process in Nigeria was discussed with a view to recommending solutions for an efficient and effective process.
Constitutionally have been abused. What do you do? And I'll tell you it has been abused. Professor Okim called out there, and what was accepted then was that he had another filter, a screening. Maybe give them a competition right to look at whether they are strong in English, whether they can even get into the university and do very well. Or do whatever they want to do, but what they are doing is taking JAMB first question papers and giving it to them again. That's another JAMB exam.
The guys say with about 2 million candidates seeking admission into about 140 universities in the country, the need for consistent expansion of tertiary institutions cannot be overemphasized.
It is high time we expand the facilities and allow students that are qualified. I think that we have to get to a point, to that point also of insisting our device laws in ensuring that whatever is the quota given to them by the NUC, they have to. So if we do not have these resources, for goodness sake, there's no need to embark on mindless expansion.
In spite of efforts by government in the education sector, the quality of many tertiary admission-seeking students churned out annually, the guests say, is still questionable. They called for continuous holistic reforms to better position the nation's institutions of learning, as well as a strong political will to implement plans to grow the institutions. In Abuja, Joy Uzo, NTA News.
Experts prefer solution to tomatoes disease. These are more from our Lagos Network Centers. We now join Jennifer. Jennifer, it's over to you.
Ifeanyi, good evening and welcome to Lagos. Statistics indicate that illicit trade is a major threat to wildlife. Estimated $2 billion proceeds of the illicit trade are said to be used to support rebels in the purchase of weapons. Our Yusuf Jibo reports that this was the focus at the United Nations program to mark World Environment Day in Lagos. The theme for this year's celebration is centered on illicit trade in wildlife.
Although wildlife and rebel activity may yet be linked in Nigeria, wildlife assemblage is rapidly diminishing, with many species increasingly threatened and endangered over the years as a result of deforestation, increased poaching activities, and industrialization with its attendant pollution. This was the submission of speakers at the event.
To this issue, and then begin to think about how we can do things differently to try and save our wildlife.
Illegal trading, uncontrolled hunting, uncontrolled and unregulated hunting, and outright not creating places that the wild animals can call their own.
Among endangered species of wildlife in Nigeria includes tortoise, sea turtles, spotted hyenas, and a wide variety of birds, most of which are only found in Nigeria.
We bring in the local hunters to come and help us identify the different species of this, of this wildlife. We need to engage them, we need to use them, we need to use their language and get across to them.
Whether it is wildlife, whether it is oil spill, whether it is desert desertification, whether it is erosion, we need to put great plans in this country to protect the environment.
Experts are calling for an awareness campaign against the buying and selling of wildlife, introduction of nature studies into school curriculum, and effective implementation of government policies aimed at protecting wildlife and all its beauties. In Lagos, Awol Yusuf Jubo, NTA News.
The pest infestation that affected the tomato plant, which brought about acute shortage of supply of fresh tomatoes, has been described as highly devastating. Experts say measures must be put in place to curb the spread of the organism. Abdullahi Mohammed reports.
The insect pest infestation which affects the tomato plant is known as Tuta absoluta. It develops within a very short period and has the ability to reproduce en masse, making it possible to destroy plants also in a short period of time.
And one single female, once mated, can lay up to 200 to 260 eggs. And so that's why they are highly devastating. And you can find them on the leaf, on the plant, and the stalk. And you can find also on the fruit. So it's highly devastating and it's an invasive species.
Experts say curbing the spread of the infestation will involve an integrated approach.
And the first thing for all the other states that we have not found them yet, we need to set up pheromone traps. Now these traps, normally the insects communicate using pheromones. Okay? It's a way of chemical there's a transmission, chemically, that will talk to insects of the same species. So what you do is that you will introduce that pheromone that is of the female in a particular tube. Now the males anywhere will get attracted and they go there. So while they go there, you now know that, well, we now have it in this state. Let's start action.
A lot of research has been done on the classical biological control. So we need to look at some other natural enemies of this insect that we use to stamp down their population in these other countries. So if that's done, we can initiate a research team.
The expert also insists that the federal government must strengthen quarantine units in borders, ports and airports to check the importation and spread of such infestation. In Lagos, Abdullahi Mohammed, NTA News.
Now those are the top stories at this hour from the Lagos Network Center. Back to Fen in Abuja for more on Nationwide News.
Thank you, Jennifer. We are still on 20 Nationwide and we'll be back after this time out. Do stay with us.
If you hear a bomb explosion or gunshots of an active shooter, that might be a terror attack. At such times, always remember 3 action words. 1. Hide. Report. Don't try to run towards the terror scene to save the situation, because there might be a second bomb blast or another attack. Run far away and take cover. Make sure you are safe first. Yes, it is in our nature to sympathize over the hurt, but remember, only trained personnel can help in such situations. When in a secured environment, promptly call relevant authorities and help will come. For anonymous reporting, June 11th, 2016. You're welcome.
We are here to serve, and indeed, Nigeria will get the service they have longed for and which they rightly deserve. The leader today that we have in Nigeria is one the world has been waiting for. Nigeria is seen in a new and a different, very positive light. With what President Muhammadu Buhari is doing, our economy will be strong and resilient to withstand the shocks.
He wants the best for this nation. We want the best for this nation. Our aspirations should be to put this country first, and together we shall make progress.
If we don't believe in our own country, nobody will believe in our own country. So we must make sure that we continue with the trajectory. We don't want to make a mistake of the past.
This president has a singular opportunity to make that difference because the whole country is behind him. And by the grace of Almighty God and the sheer will and determination of the Nigerian people, we come out stronger and more united than ever. Always, we have lived together as brothers and sisters since long time in river, without no mind that we have spoken different languages and celebration our cultural and diversity. No bombing, no cultism, no kidnapping. Nowadays our children are trampoline to cultists. Today we are suspicion one another. All this notorious behavior have scattered all over Nigeria. When are you going to change? More. When are you going to stop? Terrorism are unwanted visitor. Kidnapping are criminal. Cultism are barbaric. Do not destroy this country. Our country, Nigeria, are blessed. Are you see what I'm saying? Support Nigerian police force in their civil war against terror, kidnapping and cultism. Report any bad move around you. See and not talk at your old age. And to hear and does not behavior at your small begin. All of us have the duty of building Nigeria free of crime that are our dream.
This message is from the Nigeria Police Force.
Admission forms for the 2016-2017 academic session of the NTA Television College Jos into its diploma courses are now on sale. NTA TV College Jos is the only federal government-owned specialized tertiary institution charged with the mandate of providing high-quality professional education in television production, engineering, and journalism. It runs diploma courses in TV production, TV journalism, and TV engineering. Applicants are required to have at least 5 credits in English language and mathematics at SSCE, NECO, or GCE O levels. Application forms can be obtained from the college at Rayfield Jos on payment of a non-refundable fee of 7,500 naira in bank draft or at any NTA state capital station nationwide. Completed application forms should be returned to the office of the Academic Secretary, NTA Television College, Rayfield Jos, or to the Center of Purchase. For further inquiries, please call 080-655-87730. NTA Television College Jos, training you to be the best you can be.
Yesterday on 20 nationwide, an aftermath of the federal government meeting with the oil-producing states, correspondent Gideon Ifade reports that the Delta State Governor Ifarokoa briefed reporters at the end of the meeting.
One thing that we have identified as the synergy between the federal government and the state is very important, and this meeting actually has revealed a lot of issues, and we believe that the collaboration between the federal government and the states will help us to tackle the issues in the Niger Delta. Of course, we were briefed by the service chiefs, and the governors also gave their various perspectives, along with the Minister of State for Petroleum, and we've taken a lot of decisions which we think will help us to mitigate on what is going on currently in states, particularly Delta and Bayelsa, and we believe that we are going to find solutions very soon. One of such is that there's the need for us to share intelligence, which is very important, and for us to be proactive, working together, the states and the officers on ground in the various states to achieve a better result going forward. And then we also have agreed that there is a need to descale military operations directly in communities, but the military need to actually remain on our waterways and ensure that we adequately man the waterways itself while we engage the communities, and that engagement process is starting any moment from now.
Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa on resolutions at the end of the meeting of oil-producing state governors with the Vice President. To some other political issues now, the Election Petitions Tribunal sitting in Abuja has dismissed the petition of the immediate past Governor of Kogi State, Captain Idris Wada, contesting the November 21st and December 5th, 2015 governorship election in the state. Chairman of the Tribunal, Justice Halima Mohammed, in her judgment said the petition lacked merit. Let's join Isaac Okuma for details.
Former Governor Idris Wada of the People's Democratic Party had prayed the Justice Halima Mohammed-led three-member tribunal to invalidate the process that led to the emergence of Yahaya Bello as Governor of Kogi State in the 2015 gubernatorial race in what he termed gross irregularities during the polls. Ruling on the matter, Chairman of the Tribunal, Justice Halima Mohammed, held that Captain Wada did not participate in the primaries of the All Progressives Congress and so lacks the local standing to challenge the nomination of Yahaya Bello as the party's candidate following the demise of Prince Abubakar Audu.
The only crux of the
Meanwhile, Kogi State Governor Alhaji Yahaya Bello has described his victory at the tribunal as victory for democracy and APC. Clement Olorutoba says the governor was reacting to the judgment.
Governor Yahaya Bello said the governorship tribunal judgment was a confirmation that the tribunal has exploited every good angle to ensure truth prevails. He noted that the victory is for the APC that nominated him to contest the governorship election.
Since this mandate is from Almighty Allah, I have no doubt in my mind that we are going to have this victory today. It's a victory for the people of Kogi State. It's a victory for our party.
Alhaji Bello urged the people of the state to remain calm and be law-abiding, saying that the judgment will spur him to continue to serve the people better.
The state is expecting a lot from me because a lot has been given to me. They should be patient because I'm determined to work.
Governor Bello urged the people to believe in his policies and programs to move the state forward. Clement Olorutoba, NTA News.
And away from political matters, the protection needs of those displaced by the Boko Haram conflict in the Lake Chad Basin will preoccupy a high-level regional meeting for 3 days in Abuja. It is jointly organized by the Ministry of Interior and the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees with a theme.
The line of work we're engaged in. I expect an intellectualistic meeting and policy-oriented conversation at the end of the day.
The workshop will come up with an action statement to be adopted by an interministerial meeting of the Lake Chad member nations. In Abuja, Ogechipo, NTA News.
In another development, Plaza on to deepen bilateral relationships between Nigeria and Germany in the areas of security and the industrial development at a conference with the media in Abuja. Representatives of both countries described this step as an excellent attempt to unlock enormous potentials for developing both nations.
Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Bulus Lulu, explained that the mechanism Nigeria is using for the bilateral relationship and consultation working group is an excellent mechanism in the management of the relationship between the two countries. State Secretary, Republic of Germany, Markus Ede, says for both countries to develop, they need each other's assistance.
The issues we are dealing with
are becoming ever more our common issues. Climate change, migration, all forms of human security, they are our common issues, and we are particularly grateful to have a partner with Nigeria to work on these issues together.
The spokesperson for the ministry, Bolaji Akiyemi, says Nigeria and Germany bilateral relations is significant, which will enable the two countries to gain multiple benefits in terms of industrialization.
I know German companies in Nigeria. There are a lot of German experts working in Nigeria, and also Nigeria will learn a lot from them industrially. As you know that a lot of even construction companies have their origin in Germany, Julius Baja. So all these are areas that our relationship will benefit.
The relationship between the two nations is expected to yield more developmental results.
Imo State,
as part of our pet project tagged Ugo's Touch of Life Foundation. Again, Ijoma Ugweke reports.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
The wife of the governor said the sick bay is part of our pet project geared towards improving the health condition of children, promising that the gesture will be replicated in other.
If I look in here again, in 2 weeks' time, there will be a lot of greenness. Every technology here is computerized, and it's the type of thing you see in Singapore.
The governor also inspected a rice milling factory at Amici, Nnewi sub-local government areas. Civil servants in the state have already benefited from the rice production project as state government distributed bags of rice from the farm to them during the last Christmas season. From Amako, Benson, Osadebe, NTA News.
Houses belonging to suspected kidnappers have been demolished in Ohaji Ebe Maluku.
Houses demolished include bungalows and family compound, which suspects use as the hideout. From Owerri, Nkiru Onyejesi, NTA News.
And that does it. From here is back to you, Femi, for the continuation of Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Chair. The National Biosafety Management Agency is to partner with security agencies and NAFDAC to ensure sanity in the application of genetically modified organisms in food and feeds in Nigeria. The Director General of the agency, Rufus Ebegwa, stated this while speaking on suspected
Abuja, Mayor Okidi, NTA News.
The Nigerian Prison Service says it will intensify and strengthen its relationship with the Federal Ministry of Justice and the Nigerian Police Force in resolving issues of awaiting trials and prison congestion. Comptroller General of Prisons Jafar Mohammed stated this at a meeting with senior officers from the rank of controllers of prison across the country. Olajide Bello has more.
In a bid to meet public expectations in terms of providing safe custody and behavioral change among inmates, the Comptroller General of Prisons Jafar Ahmed says the partnership with the judiciary is to propose the adoption of non-custodial sentencing options in line with provisions of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015.
This will reduce criminal population, recidivism, and the financial burden of the state and the host of other benefits.
Speaking on the reformation and rehabilitation of inmates, he said the prison service will activate automated prison industries to enhance entrepreneurial skills of the inmates. Addressing the issue of jailbreaks, the prison boss noted that resources that are germane to having a reliable prison system will be fully harnessed. In Abuja, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Jigawa State government flags of distribution of grains in the state, just as Kano State counterpart also distributes motorcycles to agri extension workers. These and more as we join Suleiman standing by in our Kaduna Network Center. Take it away, Suleiman.
Thank you very much, Femi, and welcome to Kaduna. As part of measures adopted by the Kano state government to tackle the challenges being faced by tomato growers, the state government presented motorcycles to 380 agricultural extension workers. Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje made the presentation at this year's Farmers' Day in Kano. Abdullahi Mustafa reports.
Farmers' Day is an annual event where farmers and relevant stakeholders come together to discuss success and challenges during the year's cropping season and exchange ideas on way forward. It is also a platform on which innovations as well as variety of agricultural produce are being displayed. During this year's event, 380 extension workers engaged by Kano State Government were each presented motorcycle to facilitate their functions. The idea, Dr. Ganduje stated, is to further educate farmers, particularly tomato growers, on how best to minimize losses from the recent infection that invaded many farms. This, he explains, is in addition to the constitution of a special committee that will work towards finding a lasting solution.
The president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has come up with a very viable policy on agriculture, a consistent policy that will improve Nigerian economy. We are here today to connect you to those who elevate whatever you produce.
Governor Ganduje was also at the Kada Artificial Insemination Center, which was established to enhance the output of pastoral farmers. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
Jigawa state government has flagged off distribution of more than 3,500 tons of grains to the people in the state. Amir Zani reports that Governor Muhammad Badr Abubakar led the distribution of the commodity in Duzi.
140 trucks containing over 3,500 tons of maize and sorghum were purchased for distribution across the nooks and crannies of the state. Governor Muhammad Badr Abubakar said each polling unit in the state will benefit with 10 bags of grains. He charged the distribution committee members to have fear of God and share it to the needy and less privileged ones, irrespective of political affiliations. Commissioner of Women Affairs and Social Development, Haji Aladi Ibrahim Ansuri said special consideration should be given to the physically challenged and the vulnerable groups in the course of the exercise.
Saying that government will continue to carry out campaigns to ensure it achieves the desired objective in that regard. Malam El-Rufai said plans are underway to collaborate with federal government to dredge River Kaduna for better utilization. In Kaduna, Muhammad Lawal Baba, NTA News.
And with that report, it's back to you, Penny, for more on Nationwide.
Thank you, Senator. Nigerian youths have also been encouraged to have faith in God to realize their full potentials through hard work, commitment, and good character. This was in a message to the Catholic Youth Organization of Nigeria by the Executive Secretary, Nigerian Christian Pilgrims Commission. In Abuja, Lydia Bassi reports.
There was presentation of materials towards
by the Oyo State government. The national president, NLC, Comrade Ayuba Waba, gave the directive while addressing workers at the state secretariat of the NLC in Ibadan. Kemi Akinwade has the details.
The national president, Nigeria Labour Congress, Comrade Ayuba Waba, represented by his vice president, Solomon Adelegon, directed workers in the state to stay at home beginning from Tuesday, June 7, 2016. He demanded immediate withdrawal of court cases against labor leaders, payment of 6 months outstanding salaries and pension arrears, among others.
Our members should start to accept the government pays the 6 months arrears of salary, pension and gratuity.
He also called on government to reverse its decision on the alleged sale of some public secondary schools in the state. NLC Chairman Oyo State Chapter Comrade Wahid Olojede, who was bailed from Agodi prison following his prosecution last Friday by the Oyo State government for disrupting education stakeholders meeting, faulted the action that led to his arrest and subsequent prosecution.
By the power conferred on me as the chairman of Nigerian Labour Congress Oyo State Council,
that Oyo State Council is shut down industrially. Every industrial activity must stop forthwith.
The Labour advised workers to remain calm and await further.
Farmers in the southwest region of the country are currently experiencing another type of disease affecting maize plantations across the region.
All we know is that it wasn't stem borer, it was a army worm attack. So, and that army worm attack is a devastating disease.
The disease is attributed to the activities of a kind of pest which makes the maize malnourished and in some cases stunted. The Institute of Agricultural Research and Training Ibadan has commenced research on how to curtail the effect of the disease on maize production.
If something is not done proactively, that means, number one, we are going to have shortage of maize. Again, farmers will be discouraged to go into planting. Those of the farmers, they plant their farmers safe seed. Harvest from their last planting. And some of these feed, when we go there, they will all feed.
And entomologist Kenny Odeyemi also suggests a way out so as to avert shortage and scarcity of maize in the country.
So farmers, when they are doing their spraying, they should make sure they are doing spot application, making sure that enough chemical is going inside the tunnel of the plant they are trying to spray, and they should keep their field weed free.
Farmers are also enjoined to be hopeful and remain focused by using pesticides regularly on their maize plantation.
And that's our contribution from Ibadan. Femi is back to you in Abuja for continuation of Nationwide. Good evening.
Thank you, Dauju. Let's join Childinma Ndebisi for more on Global Tidbits.
International arrest warrant issued for Cote d'Ivoire Speaker of Parliament has been cancelled. He was wanted for his alleged role in the failed coup in Burkina Faso last year. In Kenya, the owner of the six-story building which collapsed in April, killing many people, has been charged with 52 counts of manslaughter. Also, Kenyan and Somalian presidents have been holding talks in Kenya on the closure of the world's largest refugee camp, the Dadaab camp, where about 300,000 Somalians are residing. President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud becomes the first Somalian president to visit the camp since its setup 2 decades ago. Still on refugee and migration issues, a European court has ruled that illegal migrants entering any European Union member country should not be detained but repatriated. And to further decrease the number of African migrants entering Europe through Libya, the European Union is to give new aid package estimated to be up to $70 billion to some African countries, basically on security. That's Global Tidbits. Chindema Ndebisi, NTA News.
Ayodeji Makinde is saying that Coach Samson Siasia will be overhauling the team. Let's join him.
Savannah Conference Basketball Final 6 playoffs continued on Tuesday in Abuja. Plateau Peaks, which lost their first match on Monday to Kano Pillars, regained their form, beating Niger Porters 72-68 points. Coach Jacqueline Nyagwan of Plateau Peaks described the victory as a moral booster for the team.
When I called the last time out, I told you that this is the last chance. If you guys don't win now, that is it. So you need to fight, and that was what they did. They really played well and they played according to instructions.
The playoff started on Monday with Kano Pillars beating Plateau Peaks by 96-66 points. Niger Porters lost 65-67 points to Gombe Bulls, while Mark Mentors walked over Bauchi Nets. National Under-23 coach Samson Siasia says the team will be fortified with new invitees as they begin the final phase of preparations for the football event of the 2016 Rio Olympics. Siasia further stated that the four-nation tournament in Suwon, South Korea, where Nigeria finished third after beating Honduras 3-1 in the last game, shows that the team lacked the ability to defend very well. Britain's former boxing world heavyweight champion Lennox Lewis and actor Will Smith will be pallbearers at Muhammad Ali's funeral on Friday. Lennox Lewis became undisputed world heavyweight champion in 1999, while American Smith played Ali in the 2001 film which chronicled the life of the late boxing legend. The body of the late three-time boxing heavyweight champion Ali is now in his hometown of Louisville, Kentucky for Friday's funeral. With sports updates, Ayodeji, Makinde, NTA News.
And that's it on NTA Nationwide. We thank you for joining us. My name is Femi Johnson. Do join us for subsequent news reports. That will be coming over at 6, 7 o'clock, and also the network news at 9. Good afternoon.